Welcome back. In this lesson, we will focus on what happens after the formal presentation ends, the question and answer session. For many technical professionals, Q&A can feel unpredictable because we do not know what the audience will ask. But Q&A is also where trust is built. When you handle questions clearly and calmly, you show that you understand the material and respect the audience's concerns. Whether you are presenting a database migration plan, cloud architecture proposal, or new software feature, Q&A is where people test the idea, clarify risks, and decide whether they trust the recommendation. In this lesson, we will look at how to prepare for common and tough questions, redirect off-topic questions, and keep the discussion focused and productive. Q&A is critical because it shows whether your message actually landed. In a technical presentation, the audience may be processing complex topics such as security trade-offs, downtime risk, cost impact, system dependencies, or implementation effort. Their questions reveal where they need more clarity. Q&A also affects credibility. A polished deck can lose impact if the presenter becomes defensive or vague during questions. On the other hand, when you answer calmly, admit what you do not know, and explain your reasoning clearly, you build trust. Q&A also creates engagement. It helps the audience connect the presentation to their own environment, whether they care about rollback options, cost, integration impact, or operational risk. You cannot prepare for every possible question, but you can prepare for the questions most likely to come up. If you are presenting a cloud database migration plan, expect questions about security, downtime, cost, licensing, rollback, performance, and support ownership. If you are presenting a new software feature, expect questions about user impact, dependencies, release timing, and risk. Also prepare your evidence. Know which assumptions, metrics, reports, or examples support your recommendation. This does not mean showing every backup slide, but it does mean having the facts ready. Finally, prepare how you will respond when you do not know the answer. You can say, "That is a great question. I do not have the exact data with me, but I will follow up after the session." That is much better than guessing. Difficult questions do not have to derail the presentation. The key is to acknowledge the person, answer what is useful, and protect the flow for the whole room. For off-topic questions, validate the question without letting it take over. You might say, "That is useful, but outside today's scope, let's discuss it after the session." For highly technical questions, especially in a mixed audience, give the high-level answer first and offer a deeper follow-up later. That respects the technical question without losing the broader audience. For hostile or skeptical questions, stay composed. Avoid sounding defensive. You can say, "I hear the concern. Let me show how we addressed that risk." This keeps the exchange professional and moves the conversation back to evidence. A strong Q&A session is not just about answering individual questions. It is about guiding a meaningful discussion. The first move is clarification. If a question is vague, do not rush to answer. Ask, "Just to make sure I understand, are you asking about implementation or timeline?" The second move is building. When one answer connects to another issue, use that connection to deepen understanding. For example, after answering a question about migration cost, you might connect it to scalability and long-term support. The third move is connecting. Tie your answers back to the audience's priorities. Technical teams may need implementation detail. Executives may need risk, cost, and business value. A productive Q&A needs boundaries. First, set the time expectation. You might say, "We have about 10 minutes for questions, so let's keep them brief so we can get through as many as possible." This helps the audience understand the pace. Second, for larger sessions, use a moderator if possible. A moderator can group similar questions, manage time, and redirect off-topic questions so you can focus on answering clearly. Third, wrap up with a short summary. If the audience asked about scalability, cost, and risk, restate those themes, and briefly explain how your recommendation addresses them. That final summary helps the audience leave with a clear message instead of a scattered list of answers. Here are the key takeaways. First, prepare a Q&A bank before every important technical presentation. Think through the questions the audience is most likely to ask. Second, answer with clarity. A strong Q&A answer is concise, evidence-based, and tied back to the main message. Third, redirect respectfully when questions move outside the scope. The goal is not to shut someone down. The goal is to keep the session useful for everyone. Finally, follow up professionally. If you do not know the answer, say so honestly and commit to closing the loop. For your next presentation, write the first 5 questions you expect from your audience and draft short answers. That one habit can make Q&A feel more controlled and less intimidating. In the next lesson, we will look at how feedback helps you improve and build long-term confidence as a technical presenter. If this video was helpful, I cover the full process in my Udemy course, Delivering Technical Presentations, a quick start guide for effective technical communication. In the course, you will learn how to plan your message, understand your audience, simplify complex technical content, design clearer slides, present data, handle technical demos, and manage questions with confidence. You can find the course link in the video description, along with any available promotions or discounted access. Thanks for watching, and I wish you much success in your next technical presentation.